Welcome to Ladies Who Lore, the only podcast that dives deep into urban legends and bottles of wine. We're your hosts, Jessie,
Sammy,
and Lindsay. Now fill up your glasses, gather around the fire, and let's lore.
kind of like how this computer forces me to man-spread a bit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, Lindsay,
You gotta have some masculine energy on the podcast.
That's what we need. We've been missing a man.
Ladies and also a man who lore.
That rolls off the tongue, so that's
so snippy.
Okay, should we start?
I feel that I've started.
I'm sorry to disrupt the flow.
But it is your episode.
Okay, it's our episode. Hi.
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 How's everyone doing?
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was everyone's week? Everything went well? No complaints?
Yeah. I love the November season. My new thing that I'm trying to publicize is giving November a more famous reputation. You know, everyone wants to skip either into Christmas or stay in Halloween.
Are you forgetting
So
Thanksgiving? I feel like people are pretty hyped about that.
Yeah, but you don't. It's not like you celebrate Thanksgiving all of November.
Wait,
it's not like you're. It's not like
Period.
anyone celebrates Thanksgiving. No, I just mean that like I'm enjoying, and I say this with a grain of salt because it's LA and like the seasons aren't that season, but. I'm trying to enjoy the harvest season.
LA fall.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I love it. And to LA's credit, we did pass a few like parks and things that had changing leaves.
Oh, yeah.
And the wind is insane right now.
Yeah.
I love
So
the Santa Anas.
the Santa Ana.
They're amazing.
To be fair, I did already start decorating for Christmas, but I do love Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But my heart is in Christmas already.
But you're right, there isn't much you can decorate for Thanksgiving.
That's
Like,
why
yeah.
I put this tree up, but it's just sitting there. Because that's what I feel that November is just a tree, the
Fair.
woods.
it's just a tree.
It's just a tree in the woods.
Yeah. I have that list for movies that, depending on which month you're in,
Right.
what you should watch. And my November theme is called Lost in the Woods.
Aww.
Because I just
Oh,
feel
that's
like
good.
it's like wandering around the woods is
Yeah.
what November feels like to me.
Absolutely.
It's witchy, too.
Yeah, it's very
in a
witchy.
different witchy that October is.
Yes.
Which I enjoy.
not me already having a Christmas cup, though.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
I don't have a cup. That was quite rude.
Well.
I actually do have a story to tell you, Sammy.
Me?
Well, Lindsay and I do, actually.
What?
We've been...
Oh, yeah.
We encountered an event together, and we were like, let's tell Sammy together.
I forgot that I was saving this, but thank goodness I did.
Good. So our friend Hannah has a haunted garage. Her garage was built in like the early 1900s, and it used to be like a horse stable.
Yeah.
A full farm. Or not farm, but like farmhouse.
Stable.
Yeah, it's stable. And we went in, Lindsay and I, and it's a long hallway. The door leads to a long wooden hallway with wooden stairs that lead up. And if you've seen The Conjuring, it's the Conjuring basement stairs if they went up into an attic. Lindsay, being the brave one of us, decided to venture further into the hall.
Nope.
Because no thank you. I like barely crossed into it.
Yeah, and I think maybe for a good reason, you know?
Totally.
Definitely for a good reason.
I was like, yeah, I'm not afraid of this wooden structure. It was a farm. It must have the spirits of horses. How nice, right?
I felt complete opposite.
yeah,
the
no,
minute
I
I walked in, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was bad energy for sure, but I was like, someone's gotta do it.
And I
Except for the
appreciate it.
fact that... So I will say before I even looked up into that creepy attic, I did see
No.
like red paint or something that I didn't say anything to anyone, but I told you guys later.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's blood, but it totally looked like
It
a
set the
giant
scene.
blood
Could be.
stain.
Yeah, we don't know.
I was like, wow, that's stereotypical for a horror
Like, of
movie.
course, there's
Yeah.
red paint.
It was also a full moon this night. by
It
the
was
way.
a full moon.
super
Oh, that's fun.
It was just like
Yeah.
a creepy setting overall. And
Uh-huh.
so Lindsay's like deep into this hallway. Hannah and I are staying back because we're smart, I think. And Lindsay looks up. She decides she's not going up into the attic for a good reason. There are no lights.
Not
anywhere.
a single light breath of fresh air.
Not a
Feels
thing.
like no one's been up there since
Hard pass.
1920.
Exactly, which is kind of cool.
Unless there's a murderer up there, and that was my concern.
Yes, but
Fair.
so we like stand in silence for a second, just like taking in the feelings. And I think Hannah was like, "Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's haunted." And we were like, "Yeah." And then from upstairs, we hear.
What?
Dead serious. It was horrible.
We all looked at each other, ran the fuck out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was like in response to us being like,
and we
this
were
was
trying, we were looking for any other explanation. We were like, maybe someone was, behind it. But like, it really...
Anything else, but no.
Three girls and all of us thought upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
And you can kind of like feel it when it is in the room. You know what I mean? Like upstairs.
Yeah. And there's no animals because she's had the whole place fumigated.
Yeah.
I guess it could be a squatter situation.
That's my fear.
Isn't
I'm more
it
afraid of
locked?
real people things than ghosty
an
things.
entity things.
Yeah,
Interesting.
personally.
Same.
Because the real people,
Pretty scary.
pretty scary.
Yeah.
Is the garage not locked?
It is, but I feel like people get into places not
Yeah.
through the front door.
Yeah.
That's so fair.
And who knows how long that person's been there,
Yeah,
If
who
it's
knows,
a person.
who knows who has a key to,
Right.
all
So
sorts of
true.
stuff. Yeah.
So that was a scary event that happened to us.
That's horrifying. I had also gone to this garage, and this was after this, and Jessie did not tell me any of this.
Good.
And I walked into the garage. She did tell me in advance, we think it's haunted, but that's all she said. And I walked in, got about halfway down the hallway with Hannah, and she kind of stayed back a little bit. And right when you walk in, there's the, opening of a doorway to the left. And it is so spooky in there. Something is definitely in there as well,
Yeah.
downstairs.
Oh, good.
But I could not
we're surrounded.
bring myself to get up those stairs. They looked so scary.
It's also it was such a small opening
Yeah.
to get up to the attic that I was like,
One day I do want to
someone could grab you from any side. They could be waiting. They're just waiting up there.
So true.
I told my dad that story, and he was like, well, I'll go up. And I was like, no, Dad, I'm telling you, when you get there, it's freaky. He was like, no, I'm brave. I'll do it.
Dad.
And I was like, no, Dad, I think you're dumb. I think that's a stupid thing. Mind you, he's like high on Oxycontin because he just had surgery.
Got it.
And he was like drinking a glass of wine where I'm like, you're not supposed to do that. He's like, I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna do it.
Okay, I will go up with Chris, and then we'll see how it goes.
I'll go up if I've got backup. I'll go up if we have a flashlight and a man.
Also a buddy. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
To sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Hannah's tall, strapping boyfriend, Brian.
Yeah.
I'll go up with Brian.
I would end
Not
you.
to sacrifice,
No, but to sacrifice.
in case physical,
In case there's a real human
in
squatter.
case there's a tussle,
Sure.
I want to be ready.
I also want to be ready, and I
Yeah.
think that's the way to do it. If there's three of us and one of them is Brian,
Well, thanks, Brian.
thank you.
He already signed up.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. And I think maybe a shield too.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
a medieval.
Like as you get up there, you got the flashlight and the shield.
Not a weapon, a shield, and a flashlight.
Yeah, I don't care.
No.
I'm not planning to attack.
No.
I just need
Defend.
something in case the knife comes in
Oh, there's
as
a
I'm
knife.
going up.
Totally.
Anyway.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think you should, and
Come
report back
prepared.
to me.
Let's do it.
Because I will be outside drinking a margarita.
Sounds like a perfect night.
Speaking of drinking, I brought a wine for you, ladies.
No!
Yes, I did. And to me, it's obvious what my story is based on this wine, but let me show it to you.
Yeah, I see that now.
There's a hook.
It's called Smith Hook. It's just basically that. It's just a logo.
Established 1980.
It's a cab from the
Central
Central Coast.
Coast.
Yeah.
So,
So I definitely think I know what it is.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah.
Oh, well then
Let's let Lindsay guess.
what
first.
am I gonna do? No, because I saw the hook and I was like, oh my god, Peter Pan, but that's not
What if, though?
what this podcast is.
That would be so funny.
She's like, he's real. I've seen him.
So Peter Pan.
He came to my window when I was young.
Guys, I swear.
We're gonna talk about I do believe in fairies. That's so nice. That's so wholesome.
Yeah.
So there's a hook. I feel like the hook is our clue here. Like a man with a hook.
Great. And Sammy, do you have a guess?
Yeah, so there is an urban legend of a Hookman.
Okay.
And I'm guessing it.
Ding, ding, ding. We got it.
I'm already creeped out.
Today, I'm going to tell the story of the Hookman. But first, drink up, ladies.
Drink up me hearties, yo, because it's Captain Hook.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Ooh, can you hand me your glass?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Cheers.
That was a crazy cheers.
Mmm.
That's smooth.
Oh, I like.
That's beautiful.
I love
There's
that.
cherry and mahogany.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you a sommelier?
Yeah, I like to be.
It's a Cabernet Sauvignon 2020. And let's see.
Blackberry, black currant, cherry.
There's French
Is it chocolate?
French oak. Yeah, mocha.
Yeah!
Dark cherry.
Yes!
Blackberry.
Yes!
And cassis? I don't know what that is.
Cassis, which is black currant. Shut the fuck
Oh
up.
my god!
Lindsay, are you hiding something from us? Did you study
I
in
did
France?
go to France.
I've been to France.
I did. I went to the vineyards in France, and I've never been the
Wow.
same.
In France.
In France. En France. En français.
That is... That's
Please,
so funny.
no French person should ever listen to this podcast now.
That is excluding our entire fan base.
Actually, exclusively
We're really
French
big
people
in
should
Paris.
listen to this.
Yeah, we're huge. It's translated across the world.
They love wine.
Yeah, they love wine.
They would be so sad to know, though, because, our wine, I don't know if it's going to be up to their taste.
No, but this honestly
This is good.
pretty good.
This is good.
I think this might be my new favorite cab.
For,
Yeah, this is really
for
good.
California-based wine, I'm not like the biggest, but I do love Cabernets, and this is really
this is...
It is so good.
smooth but full-bodied with a little bit of I don't know.
berry-esque.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, for
Like,
those
it
at
really
home,
does.
I'm doing a little shimmy
It's like
shake.
a berry bush grew in an oak forest, and then you cut it off, and you burnt it a little bit with chocolate.
And your mom kissed it, and then they made it into wine.
That's exactly right.
It's
Yeah.
made with
Yeah.
love. Thanks, Smith Hook. All right, yes.
Where did you get this?
I got it at Whole Foods.
Oh my god, it's so
Oh,
good.
these were Whole Foods wines.
Yeah, girl, I shell out for this.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so the Hookman.
I'm scared.
Ladies, if you will, please sit back and enjoy while I tell you a story. As most good stories go, we start on a dark and stormy night. A young couple in rural Pennsylvania decide to go to the movies for a date night. They laugh, they cry, the movie ends, and they don't feel like calling it a night yet, understandably. So they decide to take a drive up to the local Lover's Lane.
No, don't.
Now, if you don't know what a Lover's Lane is, it's a secluded offshoot from the main road where typically younger folk go to smooch a little in the dark, undisturbed by onlookers, ideally. So, as our couple is driving to the Lover's Lane, the sweet romantic tune of A Sunday Kind of Love by Etta James floats through the radio, even though it's a Saturday, but that's fine. We'll forgive them. As they pull into the secluded lane, the boy puts the car into park. Hearts are racing. Eyes are locking. Etta is serenading. When all of a sudden, the radio glitches. Odd, but they don't think much of it. After all, they're not entirely close to power lines. So the much anticipated moment arrives as they finally lean in to kiss. The radio glitches. Again, and again, and again, until finally the song cuts out completely and they're met with silence. And it's not just any kind of silence, it's true silence. No birds, no wind, nothing. Then a thump from outside the car. The couple tries to see out the window, but it's pitch black, so what does the boy do? Do we have any guesses?
He
Gets out of the
turns
car?
that car around
Gets out
and
of the car.
drives away.
And that's the end of my
and
story.
they have a lovely date. They later got married.
It's a great lore.
No, Sammy is correct. He decides to take a look. His girlfriend tells him, no, please stay in the car. Let's just go home.
This is why we should listen to women.
This is why your dad needn't volunteer for this.
Well, yeah. But ever the hero or the idiot, the boy decides to get out of the car and look. As he gets out, the radio blares back to life again. But Etta James isn't playing anymore. It's a news report. And the man sounds professional yet frantic as he says, "There is a hook-handed lunatic who just escaped from the local institution. If you encounter him, do not approach." She looks around, suddenly nervous that she hasn't heard her boyfriend in quite a bit. Suddenly, the car door swings open, and it's her boyfriend. He gets in, saying he couldn't see anything, but the girlfriend's worried and begs him to let's just drive home, which he does, thank you. But when he pulls into her driveway and goes to open the door for her, on the car door handle is a hook.
No.
Dun, dun, dun!
Whoa.
No. I have not heard a scary story uninterrupted in a second. That gave me chills. Wow.
Amazing. Well, I'm sure you've heard a version of this story before, maybe? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. There are many iterations of it. Like, some have the boy getting out of the car, and when the girl looks for him, she finds him gutted and hung up in a tree. Some versions, she dies after that. Some she lives. It just depends who's telling the story. So where did a creepy story like this come from? The Hookman lore became popular among American teens sometime in the late 50s to early 60s, which I kind of feels on brand, because I can totally see like a Brad or like a Chad telling this story at like a house party and getting all the girls scared.
Yeah, back when they had local institutions where the murderers were escaping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Many folklorists, which, oh my god, I wish as a 17-year-old I knew that I could pursue folklore. Who knew?
Do you know that girl on TikTok?
I love that girl.
Piper?
Yes. Piper is a folklorist.
Shout out to Piper.
Thank you, Piper. You're amazing.
Didn't know until her.
Keep it up. But many folklorists have interpreted this legend in a various amount of ways. But the general consensus is that, as an article from TBS News states, it's, quote, a cautionary tale designed to discourage reckless behavior and emphasize the importance of following rules and parental guidance, end quote. Which, to me, makes total sense for the late 50s to early 60s, because we're seeing the shift in young people and the rise of counterculture. The war's over, music's changing, civil rights activism is ramping up, and kids were just overall becoming more rebellious and challenging authority. Mm-hmm. As we know, since we were there.
Sure.
Which is actually kind of interesting because, like, I feel like that's kind of happening in our culture now.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't have that sort of lore that's being passed around because we have, like, social media and things like that where it's kind of harder to create a story for people to buy into.
Yeah, it feels like there's less lore than ever, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I feel like with stories like this as well, and kind of like the book Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, those stories and lores get passed down from generations and also by word of mouth a lot.
Yeah.
And so seeing it on social media is more like, it's just different.
Although I guess that is our form of word of mouth now.
It is, yeah.
But I think people are less likely to believe stories like that.
Yes.
That's
and
true.
I think they're less likely to tell the same one, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think part of it was because we kind of got a taste of it before social media when we were younger. I remember, like, telling scary stories with my friends. And, like, if you had heard one from someone, you went to the next group and you were like, oh, you've never heard this one before. Yeah. And I feel like there were only so many stories. Whereas now, I mean, you have a zillion to choose from on TikTok.
Yeah. And you can just Google it if it's like, that sounds crazy. Was there a Hookman released? Google, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I also feel like when we just had word of mouth, that's how we get so many different iterations. It's kind of like the game of telephone where you forget things and kind of embellish a little bit.
Yes.
And that's how it translates to so many different things.
Yeah, it's like a snowball effect.
Yes, and on social media, it's like, let me show you this TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
source. Here's my,
Yeah, so we can see easily how back in the day this sort of like Aesop fable-esque story came about, warning teens to heed their parents' rules.
Yeah.
However, the story of the Hookman is more than just an urban legend.
Another set of chills.
Cue the chills. According to investigative journalists, the Hookman story is rooted in actual murders that took place on lovers' lanes. In 1946, in the Texarkana area, which is...
Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. the middle area.
Yeah, but this one doesn't include Louisiana.
Oh, my sister lives in Texarkana.
Aw, well, this is good for Louisiana. They're not a part of the murders.
Louisiana. Okay, fine. Good for her. Yeah,
but
happy for her.
Yeah, good for her. So happy she wasn't there in 1946.
You never know.
Was she?
So true. Don't know how old she is. Okay, so in the Texarkana area, yeah. Oof. Have one sip of wine. Okay. This is not funny. A string of really brutal crimes happened, resulting in 5 dead, 3 injured, and it all occurred in less than 3 months.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty speedy.
That's real quick.
Yes. So on the Texas side, 3 of the attacks were on young couples on lovers' lanes. The 4th was on the Arkansas side, where a middle-aged couple was shot in their rural farmhouse, which is terrible. And at the time, this area was so unused to violent crime that Texarkana was thrust into this state of paralyzing panic and fear, understandably. People would string up pots and pans around their houses to use as makeshift alarm systems.
Whoa.
People who never owned a gun before bought one and slept with it loaded.
Oh.
Which kind of feels like a more dangerous thing
so
to
sad.
do.
Yeah, definitely dangerous.
Yeah, and even children were given like cleavers to sleep with. Oh my god. Which is crazy. I mean,
yeah. This is why I live in a city.
True.
I don't know. There's safety in not being in the middle of rural areas where the police can't come quickly. If I scream,
there is.
My neighbors will hear me. Whether they'll help me is another interesting, social experiment.
100%.
At least
someone will hear
it. And they'll call the police, probably. I hope.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Yeah, maybe we should be friends with our neighbors. Maybe that's the...
I love my neighbors.
Oh, great.
I think they care whether I live or die. I think so.
Great.
Okay, that's nice. No, that's good to know. So, if we're playing detective, which I hope we kind of always do, based on the information I've provided so far, how would you know that these crimes are linked? Do we need a refresher? We good?
Well, I would assume with a hook on the car.
No, the actual crimes.
It was a string of murders.
Yes.
So they took place in a similar amount of time, I would assume. And it was lovers' lanes for the most part, except for that random...
How would they link up the middle-aged couple?
I was about to say, are the victims all the same kind of victim?
Yeah,
they're
kind
couples?
of. Yes.
Okay.
So, one reason, all victims were heterosexual couples. 2, they were in secluded areas. Mm-hmm. And 3, which I didn't mention, so not fair, all people were attacked on weekend nights.
I was just about to say that.
Oh.
Yes. I bet you were.
That is wild.
So this is going to get pretty sad, so buckle up. One of the survivors, Mary, was able to give her account of the night that she and her boyfriend were attacked, and it's pretty freaky. When I read it freaked me out. So they were parked at a lover's lane, but were interrupted by a man wearing a white cloth mask with just the eye holes cut out.
No.
Major no, right?
Major no.
I would
Hard
shit
pass.
myself immediately. Yeah. So this masked man is holding a flashlight up to the car, and the boyfriend, Jim Hollis, says, "You have the wrong car," to which the masked man replied, "I don't want to kill you, fellow, so do what I say." Which is crazy.
No.
Is the car locked?
I don't know. I mean, it's 46 in a rural area. Maybe you don't
have the locks. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe you don't think anything's going to happen.
Well,
too,
certainly, I'm sure that's part of it. But
there was this sort of innocence about that time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he ordered both of them out of the car. He hit Jim on the head with the pistol, which fractured his skull. He then hit Mary too, and then told her to run. And as she's running, he's attacking Jim, which must have been like horrible psychological torture for this poor woman.
Correct.
Which is even more sadistic, I think, of like playing with their minds. But as Mary's running, her attacker catches up to her and asks her, "Why are you running?" Which gives me chills. Like, that's the scariest part to me.
I don't like that.
Really crazy.
That's so scary.
He then proceeds to hurt Mary, and at one point Mary was like, "Go ahead and kill me," and which, for some reason, that made the attacker stop and flee. She was able to get help from a nearby house, and miraculously, Jim survived too.
Wow.
Yes.
I wonder if it's like no longer fun for the killer at that point, because it's like, well, now they want it.
The fear's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, they get some twisted fun out of it, and then it's like, okay, well, this is easy now, I don't want it.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. So the terror that this unknown man afflicted on the town was so bad that the Texas Department of Public Safety called the string of killings, and I quote, the #1 unsolved murder case in Texas history. End
Wow.
quote. Which is a crazy claim.
Yeah. That's a big statement.
Exactly. I'm sure I could have done more research on if that's still true now. But I think just because of like time and, you know, what kind of attack this was, I think it probably still rings true. But I don't know.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Not me. So the perpetrator was given the nickname the Phantom Killer because no one ever knew who he was. And as previously stated, is believed to be the inspiration for the Hookman. Although there's no evidence that he had or used a hook, but I think that's that sort of embellishing thing that we were talking about. Like, you know, people like to add little...
Pistol, a hook, I mean...
Yeah, same thing.
I think the hook is also like a calling card for a good story, right? The finding of the hook is like...
Right.
Oh, he was here. Mm-hmm. If it's just like, guy with pistol, you know, like... You're gonna get home and be like, oh my god, there was a pistol here.
Well, you're gonna say it like that.
He left his pistol.
Man without pistol?
Yeah, exactly.
Roaming streets. Locked doors.
Man has no pistol.
Thank God.
Forgot it in woods.
It was November.
Lost in woods.
Lost in woods.
Help him.
Help him!
Sorry. Crime isn't funny. We're laughing because it's coping.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
Because it's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, while that seems to be like the main impetus for the Hookman story, like main, what's the word?
I think impetus was good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I feel like I was taking the SATs right there. But there have been other murders that are kind of eerily similar to the Hookman, which include the 1990 Houston Lovers Lane murders and the notorious Zodiac Killer, both of which are still unsolved today. Mm-hmm. Until now. I'm just kidding.
That would be cool.
Wait, they didn't.
No.
Part of me was like, they found the Zodiac Killer recently, or they had a breakthrough in the case.
I think they did have a breakthrough.
I don't know.
But I think it's still uncertain.
Yeah.
There are a ton of theories, some of which I believe more than others.
The Ted Cruz one is my favorite.
That one's hilarious.
Oh.
Did he ever come out and be like, I'm not the Zodiac Killer? Or was it just so insane that no one...
I mean...
It would be the most famous video of all time if he did. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine?
I'm not the Zodiac Killer.
Press conference.
That's it.
I did fly away from Texas during the giant snowstorm that failed the power grid. But also...
it wasn't to kill anyone, because I'm not...
the Zodiac.
He's winking the whole time. I'm not the Zodiac Killer.
Oh, no.
Okay, Daddy. All right. I don't think that the original moral of the story for the Hookman still rings true today. Mm. I do believe that we can still learn something from the story. Mm. Like, don't go to secluded places at night. Just make out in the Target parking lot like the rest of us.
Yes.
No one cares. No one cares if you're hooking up. It's better to live. But that, my friends, is the legend of the Hookman.
Wow, that was really good.
You brought me back to summer camp a little bit, because I remember hearing that story.
Really?
And I think I've forgotten it since. Yeah. The Hook guy? The Hook man?
The Hook guy?
Yeah,
Captain Hook, if you will.
Peter Pan.
Yes. Disappointed this had nothing to do with Peter Pan.
What if I was like, and he became...
And then in the 1800s, when was Peter Pan written? Early 1900s? Anyway. And then... J.M. Barrie time traveled, got the idea, came back.
Perfect.
Wrote his
I
book.
see it.
Yeah.
It's actually Peter Pan's story. His version of Mr. Hook.
Wow.
Captain Hook.
Mr. Hook. Yeah, 2 sips of wine.
Man with hook.
Look,
Man with alcohol.
I can't.
No.
Man with alcohol. So
I loved this story growing up. there was 2 stories that stuck with me from like these story. I don't know what they're called, like urban legend stories. And this was one of them. And then Supernatural actually did an episode on this, and it is like still one of my favorite episodes of the show.
I did see that.
Yeah, it's like in the first season. It's a really great episode.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
They do a lot.
Yeah, they do.
The Winchesters.
It's true.
We have a Winchester. We have a Sam Winchester on this.
Yeah, we do.
Sam Winchester,
the real
is on
one.
this podcast.
I was here first.
Don't come at what's his name?
Dean from Gilmore Girls.
Jared.
Yeah.
Jared Padalecki. Jared.
Yeah,
Really?
I think so.
Yeah.
Jared. Yeah, I think so.
I always read it as Paladecki, but I'm pretty sure it's Padalecki.
Palette.
No, it's
Jared Padalecki.
Well,
Jared
Come on
Padalecki.
out, Jared.
clear up. Tell us. Clear up the name.
He's been waiting in the closet this whole time.
He's got a hook.
He's like, you still want me to do the bit? Or
No, we're good now.
Jared, please come on our show.
Oh.
And then go home. Lindsay does not want you here.
I would love to have him here.
All right.
Just like to
I'm
look
watching
at.
Gilmore Girls right now.
Is he on it?
yeah.
No, that's the other one.
No, that's
it's
him.
Jared. It's Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're thinking
The brunette.
they're
Both brunette.
No, the other
Dean,
one's slightly
the one with
blonder.
longer hair,
Yeah.
is
the
Sam,
younger.
and Jared,
Yeah.
who is also in Gilmore
Yeah.
Girls.
They're both on Gilmore
No,
Girls?
No.
just Jared, who plays Sam, is on Gilmore Girls.
But Jared plays Dean.
Nope, Jensen plays Dean.
Okay, I see what I...
Jensen Ackles plays Dean. Jared Padalecki plays
You're
Sam.
so right.
I know.
Jensen
I mixed them
plays
up.
Dean, and Jared also plays Dean in Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Yo, he's just typed as Dean.
No, Jensen plays Dean.
Jensen. No. Jared played Dean in Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Then he played Sam.
Look, I'm not even listening.
I
I
don't
don't know. I believe you. I believe you're right.
I am right.
I know. That's why I believe you.
So,
Wow. That was an educational lesson for me. So, yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to
That
it.
was a great one.
That was really good.
Thank you. There is a photo of the mask.
Ooh.
I think it's like probably a recreation.
Do you have the photo?
I could look it up probably.
Okay.
But we'll do that on our own time. I don't think it's the actual one because they never caught the guy, but the one that the model they used is terrifying. I did not want to look at that. It scared me so bad.
Yeah. Murder
So-
masks.
Murder masks.
So
Not
scary.
attractive.
No,
With like just the eyes too. Oh,
that's freaky.
yeah.
I would want to have mouth breath. Or, well, I actually prefer not to mouth breathe. I'm not a mouth breather, but, like, I would need air holes.
It's not like it's a tight mask.
Still.
Like there's air hole underneath.
I have asthma.
Oh well, don't murder people, Lindsay. Don't have to worry
I'll
about
add that to the list of things.
Don't
Not to do.
murder.
Let's lore again.
Lorgan soon.
Lorgan
soon, babe.
This is delicious.
I know. I'm gonna finish this bottle
Yeah,
tonight.
this is so good.
Right, 3, 2, 3.
Ladies who lore!
Ladies Who Lore is produced and edited by Jessie Vane, Lindsay Whistler, and Sammy Winchester. Music was created by Lindsay Whistler. Today's sources can be found in the show notes. Want some lore? Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Ladies Who Lore. And feel free to send your stories to ladieswholorepod@gmail.com.